So, fun fact is if you get this glue, these crayons, $2.83, you have toilet paper, you can be spooky. Let me show you how. Sometimes you can even use fluffy to make it look a little bit more texturized. But let me show you what you do. So, what I like to do is take this guy, right? Because I don't want to just drop it on my face, which is another technique you can use, is I like to put it in a container so that I can use a sponge to take it. Yes, I know it's Beauty Blender, but I don't have anything else. Say I want right here, right? I want a scar, I want to be ripped open, whatever, right? I'm going to take my tissue paper. Don't need a lot. And you want to pull this apart. And you want to piece it apart as much as you can, right? And you're going to lay it on there, like so, right? And then you're going to put more on here. And you're going to push it down. And you're going to keep on moving it out. Then you're going to take that glue that you had, and you're going to put more on top. Yes, it's going to lift them, but that's okay. Because you want that texture. You want that ewy gooey-ness. Now keep in mind, if you can get, because I don't like toilet paper that's not 2-ply, if not 3-ply, whatever. If you can get 1-ply toilet paper, or even like paper towels, or you know, if you have anything that's like laying around the house, like say you got a gift wrap or you got the paper from the gift wrap, that works too. But see, I want this to be like it is. I want it to lift up. I want that nasty, grimy look, right? And I'm going to put it down as much as I can, but I'm going to leave it kind of sticky and ewy gooey and put it on my face so that it looks like my face has just got torn off in some form. Now you're going to have to let this dry. Take your crayons. I always start with yellow. It's okay if you rough it up. It's not perfect science. Probably should let it dry a little bit longer. But you can take these. I don't really like the crayons personally, but it is a cheap option that you can use. But you need to take your yellow. See, I go to Wet n Wild. This is their little Bright 5 palette. That's a paint palette. I like this guy. So I'm going to take my paint palette in yellow, and I'm going to paint it on. They have palettes at Walmart and stuff that you can use. Also sponges and stuff like that that you can get from the Halloween section. I found a monster palette there this morning. It was about $6.88, and it had like all the little stuff that you would need for a really awesome base, right? Okay, so we started with the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and yellow all my little places, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're all yellow. Yes, I know some of it's that's showing the white. That's perfectly fine. So you then take your orange, which is in the crayons. I don't care for the crayons. What you can do with the crayons, though, is that you can melt them down and put them in palettes like this, and then it's a lot easier to use. The crayons are really good for designing and stuff like that, but whenever you're dealing with like decaying, it's really best for you to use some type of paint or liquid decolor, things like that. But I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to go in places. Just going to kind of splotch it And yes, it looks crazy and awful, and that's okay. Because guess what? It's gonna look awesome later. So I'm gonna like focus on certain areas that I want it to look more ready and bruised and decayed. I'm trying to look at you guys, but it's like really hard to look at you guys and do what I want to do. So once that orange is pretty much where you want it to be, you then go in with your green. Okay, and all my colors are bright. You don't have to use bright. I just have bright, and I know if I mix them up with what I want. And I'm also going to use powder over this to set it. And yes, I know it looks all gross and whatever, but you remember that sponge we used at the beginning with the glue? We're going to use that guy again. So once you kind of got that basis, you can determine if you want to get kind of bruisey and stuff like that. I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to bounce it around and I kind of blend all this stuff together to make it icky. And see how those little is lifting? That's okay. Let it happen. Those are natural breaks in your skin, and you can actually fill them up. I'll show you in a minute. But kind of blend all this stuff together. Yes, I know it's bright. I usually have like more monstery, but I'm gonna fix the bright coloredness with powder. But honestly, the brighter it is, sometimes it's better that way for you in the long run, because whenever you cover it up with the darker, that bright kind of makes it look kind of good. And you'll see what I'm talking about. See how it's like kind of coming off. Also, everything I've used is easily washed. It's kid proof. All you have to do is literally soap and water, because it's washable glue. It is toilet paper and face paint or the crayons. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so it's really simple to wash off, deal with whatever. Now, because we're looking at a gory look, I am going to take this red and see these little spots like this. I'm going to take those spots that I have empty and I'm going to fill them with this red. Yes, I know it's bright. Yes, it's okay. I'm want to show you how to fix it. I wanted this straw to pretty much fall in red. See? It's starting to come together. Oh, it's coming up. It's okay. You know why? Because nothing is wrong with it. See? Boom. So after you do that, you take whatever palette you have. Okay, so I have the Spectrum. It's like $5 at Walmart. It doesn't matter what you use, but so they have this called Ember right here. It's kind of brown red. I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna dust it around this, right? See how it's changing the whole dynamic of everything? Cool, right? So you're just dusting it and you're just aging yourself and all that. See how those greens and those bright colors kind of help you look kind of more deadly? And you just kind of brush it through these places that are green and all that, and you kind of blend it down. Spooky down. It's awesome. Cool, right? It's taking so much shape. I love it. Okay. So next to it is this color called Beat. It's like an orange. I want to take this orange and I'm just gonna pop it in different places, right? Because I want to give it that dimension of, like, I live in Georgia, so got that Georgia dirt, a red light, you know. Oh no, it's just okay. And if you really, really, really want to get in there, okay, you don't have to use this palette. You can use whatever. I have the Orgy palette from Jeffree Star. So they have some really cool blacks and browns. So I want to get a little deep in there, right? So I'm going to use Orgy, which is the darkest brown I can possibly do without. Just get that dirty in there. See how that, so dark brown. Just the reason why I use powder instead of more paint and stuff is literally because the paint just kind of melts after a while. But if you set it with powder of any form, it doesn't have to be technically anything to do with makeup. It could be just regular powder, like baby powder or whatever. But if you set it, it will less likely kind of melt away. Kind of gruesome, right? Now, in the Spectrum palette is some green, and I feel like the green has kind of dissipated in my stuff, and I like that swampy look. So I'm gonna try to kind of put it in there like I got moss or something in my stuff, right? Get some of that green back in there. All right, well, that's how you do it. Let me finish the look and I'll be right back with you. Also, fun fact is if you take a gloss of any sort and you put it on it, it looks like you're bleeding from it. You don't have to use red gloss. I just have it and I don't ever use this stuff. I don't like gloss. So you can definitely put it in where the red stuff is. Let me finish and I'll be right back again. And that's it. What do you think, you guys? Am I spooky and sexy at the same time? Maybe. If you want to know how I did all of it, let me know. I have fun with this kind of stuff, so let me know. Thank you for joining me today in the spooky tutorial type thing. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or you want to know more. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye. This just took me 25 minutes. So, you know, goals. So, this happened today. Here it is. Can you help me?